Yours truly, circa, with my father, this would be circa 73, 74. This would have been probably my junior year at Michigan, so about 2 years before I came up here, which would be in 76, when I took over the place, moved up here to help my father sell it, and then ultimately entered into a deal to buy it. The Holly family were great sponsors of cross-country skiing and skiing activities. So we had, for years, the Holly Cup cross-country races, and usually held just prior to the Vasa races in Traverse City. Here we have four members: Tom Tomasky, Steve Polk, Charlie Booth, and John Dohan. The swimming pool, right after its completion in 1963. You can note that in some of this area it hasn't quite been landscaped yet, but that was in 1963, and shows what is now prohibited at just about every place: high diving boards. One of the original Bombardier, French pronunciation Bombardier, snowcats. They are presently being restored and will be used for special events for the club. These were a gift from the Bombardier family to the club. These were originally designed by Bombardier Corporation as Canadian winter troop carriers. And so here's just a shot up in the log mark with what used to happen on many of the afternoons is just have a little music after skiing with alpine style papa music and that kind of thing. Here is a picture at one of the winter gatherings of some notables in the old wildlife room. And this is Morton F., who many people would know from many sports shows, Michigan Outdoors and various things. Wayne Mallory, the third head of the ski school, and his wife Irene. Dan Holly, the inventor of the fiberglass ski, and a terrific advocate of the sport of skiing and cross-country skiing. He's been inducted into the Ski Hall of Fame up in Ishpeming. This is my late father, Alan Gornick, his wife Pauline, Alvin McCauley, who was one of the original partners, minority partners with Don McLeod in the early days of the club, and chose to remain as a minority shareholder with my father for a number of years, and actually sold his stock to me when I took an interest in the club. That goes back to the Packard. His father was the founder of Packard Motor Corporation. This is Mike Murphy, seated to my father's left. Mike Murphy was a close associate of Don McLeod and was the first president of Otsego Ski Club, and was really Don McLeod's right-hand man both at McLeod Steel and with his various other enterprises. At the opening of the tribute, Rick Robbins, Brian Lucier, part of the Robinson Associate crew, and really the man who oversaw the construction of the golf course, Gary Koch, and yours truly. This would have been circa, mid-60s. My father, Mrs. Reith, and Walter and Sis Fisher. Fishers were members of the club. They went on to purchase Nub's Knob, and they are the present-day owners of Nub's Knob. Interestingly enough, as this whole Otsego connection comes around, one of their children, their daughter, Elise, married the son of Lionel and Jenny Hayes. So Elise Fisher married Rip Hayes. So that's at Nub's Knob, but they all started at Otsego. Every year we used to give a black tie party. That was kind of the mid-ski season gala, and bring over a big band orchestra from Interlochen, the great music camp outside of Traverse City. Here is one of them with myself, with John and Jane Carlin, longtime members of the club. In 1995, I was honored to be presented with the Burgermeister Award, which means you're honorary mayor of the town. Really a great honor, I think, and I was tremendously flattered. That was always presented by primarily the Herald Times, the newspaper. This is Jim Grisso, who was then editor of the paper, and myself, and congratulating me and giving some sort of a speech, which I'm sure no one remembers. Here in the audience is a picture of my father and his wife, Pauline. A number of people ask about the clock that is located directly above the triptych. And this clock was originally in the old Perry Davis Hotel in Petoskey, which was developed by the Perry family, later owned by a great friend and business associate of my father's, Jack Davis, and later was sold. Jack Davis sold it to the Perry Hotel to my father. We had this in the lobby, and at the time that we sold the Perry Hotel and the new owners came in and did some substantial changes, there really wasn't space for that. So with that, I said, let's take that over to the club and move that to Gaylord, and we'll put this in the main entrance of the Otsego Club. And so it is. That is personally owned by me, but on loan to the club, as are some of the antiques here in the lobby, as well as a number of the artworks that are located throughout the property in the Duck Blind Grill, number of Ducks Unlimited prints, and so on and so forth. But this is a wonderful piece and represents a nice slice not only of our family's history and hospitality, but Michigan history, northern history, Michigan history in particular. And it's a great addition to the club. Here we have the presentation of the triptych. Following up on this, my father, John Lambrecht, myself, and Mickey Burke. Here we have what is really a tremendous gift that was presented to my father and myself by the membership as a token of appreciation for what all has taken place here. Back in 1989, which was the 50th anniversary of the club, a group of members, headed by Susan and John Lambrecht of Grosse Pointe and a number of others, pulled together and hired, commissioned really, the artist Sergio De Guisti, internationally renowned sculptor and artist, to put together a triptych, this frieze of representing the first 50 years of the Otsego Ski Club. And what we have here, you can see the numbers, the years 1939 of its founding up in Vanderbilt, and 1989 representing the 50th anniversary. Here's the representation of the Logmark Bar, which is at the top of the slope. Obviously, somebody very bundled up, trying to stay out of the cold. A skier with the old bear trap bindings and the old costumes of the 40s. And that representation, certainly the idea of the snow and the slopes, a far more contemporary skier showing the evolution of equipment and style, as well as the general flavor of the club, the nature, and here a cross-country skier, which was very important to our Nordic program. But all in all, a magnificent work, and one that was a total surprise to both my dad and myself, and still get a little choked up seeing it. It says so much about the membership and how This place is really about families and generation after generation.